Hey guys, it's Shawna from Cole Creations. I have had a couple of questions this week from people who are wanting to know how to hoop. They're not sure. They have a 1 needle machine, some have a 6 needle. I'm going to show you both techniques. I do not hoop. I'm hoop challenged. I float everything that I have pretty much ever monogrammed since 2012. A lot of people swear by hooping. They hoop their shirt, they hoop the stabilizer, they hoop everything. I do not do that. Number one, I don't like the hoop burn rings that sometimes the hoops that come with your machine will leave on your shirt. I don't like that, so I always float. I have wonderful, beautiful shirts from doing this. It's just my personal preference, so I'm going to show you how I do it. This first tutorial is for a 1 needle machine type hoop. This is a 5x7 that comes with, I've got a 1 needle baby lock machine. So I'm going to show you how I hoop. I take my stabilizer. This is no-show poly mesh. I hooped it. You do not want to pull it so tight that you actually change the size of your stabilizer. You just want it taut. You want it to be, really kind of like a drum. You just want it, to be in there but not just stretched completely out of shape. Some people use the little rulers that come with their little grids. I don't use those either. I use a wooden ruler, and on your hoop, I don't know if you can see it or not, on your hoop there is a little notch here and a notch here. Same thing on this end, notch here and notch on the top. What I do is I just line up my ruler along those notches, and my purple pen is about out of ink, but this is a disappearing purple sewing pen. You should be able to see the line that I made on there. So this will disappear once water hits it. Then I take 505 spray. Shake it up really good, hold it over your garbage can, spray your shirt. You don't coat it, you just spray a light coating over it. You don't just, it doesn't need to be dripping or anything like that. Alright, so you set that to the side for just a second, and you take your shirt. I've already ironed a center crease. And then I take a pen, I take my ruler. Depending on the size of the shirt, this is a child's 18-month. I'm going to drop down to about 1.5 inches below the neckline and put my pen. This is where I want the top of my design to be. Then I take my hoop. You figure out which way it goes on your machine. My machine loads this direction with the frame on that side. Pull the shirt over my hoop, straighten out my stabilizer and everything in there. Okay. Now, I bend it back, and I see where my purple line is in here and where my ironed crease line is on the outside. I get that lined up. I usually hold it with my finger like this so you can see my finger. And I touch the line of the shirt to the purple line on the inside. And I slowly press it down, and I put a pin. Okay. Alright, now I take the rest of the shirt and I pull it I don't pull it tight, I just line it up, because there's this line right here and there's the line right here. You can still see that. See the purple line right here? Okay. So I take my finger and I touch this middle line on the outside, and I open it up and I touch the inside. That way I know I'm lined up. I hold it, pull my shirt, and I kind of walk it to the edges. That way I know that, and I lay it down. Because see, there's the 505 is on there, so it's going to hold your shirt wherever you place it. So see, it's good and tight. There's no wrinkles. Now I just take a pen and I pin it on this side right next to the frame, and I pin it on this side, on the bottom, and then I pin it on the right side. These are right next to the frame because sometimes you'll need your whole area for your design depending on, you know, how big it is. All right, so now if you look at the shirt, it's centered and it's square. So this pin here is gonna stay until I get it on the machine and I am testing to see where my design is gonna stitch. And if my design, if it goes up to here and then it comes this way, then I know I need to shift my, move my hoop down some until the testing goes around and goes over that pin right there. And that way you know that the top of your design is gonna be right here. And then you can take that pin out, okay? Now, but what you have to do at this point, this is where a lot of newbies mess up. They put this on the machine like this, and it sews through the front and the back of the shirt. You can't do that. On a one needle machine, you cannot let your shirt hang down. You have to turn it inside out. Okay? Pull out your sleeves, pull out anything that could get in the way. And you're gonna have to fold it back like this. Now you can take painter's tape, you can do whatever you need to do to hold your shirt out of the way while this hoop is connected to your machine and it's rotating around and doing your design. This part has to be on the top of your frame. If it goes to the bottom of your frame, you're going to sew your shirt together. You can't do that. So you hold it out of the way as it's doing all of your design, and when your design moves down this way, you hold this part out of the way, and you just keep moving with your machine until you get your placement stitches in there, and so you start layering and doing your applique fabrics. But this is the way that you hoop it. Even if I float it, but even if you wanted to hoop it, you still have to do the same thing. You still have to hold your shirt out of the way. Hooping and floating is just the only difference in that would be that you would have to try to find your center of your shirt a different way because it's hooped instead of floated. Okay, so on a 6 needle hoop, this is how I float on a 6 needle fast frame. The fast frame has notches just like the original frames that come with 1 needles. They've got notches showing center. So I take a ruler, I line up the notches, I draw my center mark, I spray my stabilizer with my 505, push it up, let it kind of sit for a few minutes. It gets more tacky the longer it sits. Alright, so while it's doing that, I take out my shirt again. I have ironed my center line. I want the top of my design to be about 1.5 inches below the collar. Now I'm putting this pin through here, but I'm only putting it through the top layer of the shirt, not through the top and the back, just the top layer of the shirt. See? It's just on the top. Okay, so on a fast frame, you turn it, I turn my frame upside down because I want it attaches to your machine here. And I want that to be coming out the bottom of the shirt instead of the neck hole, because if it comes out the neck hole, it stretches it out. You don't want that to happen. So I pull my shirt over the hoop, just like with the 1 needle, because I'm going to be lining up my outside ironed line with the inside purple line where I drew center. Okay, so you open it up, and as you can see, there's my purple line right there. Alright, here's my outside line, here's the top of my pin. I go about 1/2 inch above that pin, and I make sure that my finger is lined up with the purple line inside, and I lay my shirt down. You don't want to pull it, you just want it to lay down, that way it lays flat. Same thing here, I'm looking at my line on the outside, here's my purple line on the inside. So I'm watching it, and I take my finger and I put it on the outside, I turn and make sure that I lay it down with the inside. I take my shirt, I keep my finger where it's at, take my shirt and kind of pull this direction. Make sure that it lays down. And see, it's got the 505 underneath there, so it's not going anywhere. You just want to make sure that it lays flat. Don't stretch the shirt, just lay it down. Okay? Now, reach and get 4 pins. You're going to put one in the top. On a fast frame, you need to know where your hoop is at all times, because 6 needle machines do not recognize fast frames, so you need to make sure that during your test stitch your design is within these 4 sides, because if it's on the outside of that frame, your needle's going to hit the frame and it's going to break. Fast frames are an aftermarket frame that didn't actually come with your machine, so your machine doesn't recognize the borders of it, so you have to make sure that you do it correctly. There you go. Perfectly centered frame. You know exactly where the top of your design is going to be. You know exactly that it's center of the collar. You're good to go. The 505 keeps everything in place while you're stitching. Couldn't ask for much better than that. If you got any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help. Y'all have a good day.